Happiness is freedom. Freedom is having the choice to spend your time doing things that inspire you. Most people want freedom, but many people don't have a clear objective, a roadmap, or a strategy to achieve it. Everyone deserves to live an inspired and free life. I believe that when we're free and able to focus on our most meaningful work, we simply become better human beings. We can give more, care more, support more, and love more. I'm an investor, a trader, and an entrepreneur, and I get to spend every day doing what I love. At the age of 29 years old, I became financially free, and since then my mission has been to help and inspire other people to achieve the same so that they can be more of who they really want to be. Always Free is about having a free mind, being free to question the status quo, free to take risks, free to say no, free to say yes, free from social idealisms, opinions and beliefs, free to disobey, and free to wake up every day and spend your time to make a difference that inspires you. You can have it all. Living a life designed by you isn't a stroke of luck or a result of circumstance. It's a choice. So if you want to learn how to become free and live an inspired life, join me for the #1 show for financial empowerment and wealth creation as I share my insights, tips, strategies and advice on what allowed me to be always free. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jason Graystone. Well, welcome back to the show, guys. Hope you're doing well. This is the Always Free show, the #1 show for financial empowerment and wealth creation. And today we've got a special guest, Mr. Charlie Lawrance. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
This is such a good match because if anyone's seen Charlie's content, you'll know why. And if you don't or you haven't, then after this conversation, you'll definitely know why. So, Charlie, first of all, you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, first of all.
Okay, so most people will know me as a content creator. So I create TikToks, YouTube content on social, basically, just dispelling the myths around making money online. But my background is in digital marketing. So I've run a digital marketing agency for 9 years. You know, we've spent $20 million on ads for clients. We've generated $60 million in revenue for them. And so ultimately, my experience lies in growing other people's businesses and brands through social media, paid advertising. And, you know, I'd like to think I've done well for myself. You know, we've done over 7 figures. So I've made all of my money online. So I feel like I have a little bit of credibility to kind of dispel some of the ridiculous myths we see on how to make money online from someone who's actually done it.
Yeah, but 7 figures is easy, isn't it?
Oh, easy. Just, you know, only took me a year.
A year? Oh, mate, you're a bit slow. Anyway, so yeah, fantastic. And if you haven't seen Charlie's content, definitely go and check it out. All of the social media links will be in this video and everything. But for people who are watching, they know me, hopefully. And, you know, that's why I got into it, to dispel myths and all of the crap out there. And it was such, when I saw your stuff, it was like, you know, it's so refreshing. It's such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we've got you on the show, because this is going to be a great conversation. We're going to be talking about dispelling myths, all of the kind of side hustle epidemic that's out there at the moment, the matrix epidemic, you know, all these kind of what the do's and don'ts, the traps, and we want to break some misconceptions, talk about some truth and lies behind some of this stuff. But before we get into that, just tell us why you took the angle that you took on social media, because you know, what drove that?
So originally, in fact, actually, I'm going to show you this because I showed Aaron Knightley this as well when I was on his podcast. So I've always...
Shout out to Aaron.
Shout out, Aaron. I always felt like this because really for me, I started seeing all of these kind of BS scams you see online about how to make money really quickly, starting with Facebook ads back in the day. So if I just show you, come on, I got to find it now. There we go. So if you just see that video there of me, right? A fresh-faced. If you look at
this is a fresh.
If you look at the timestamp, I think it's 2018. 2018, right? So this was actually an ad we did for my agency around getting, at the time we just did Facebook advertising, and it was like dispelling, I'm sorry you've been lied to, that you need the Lambos and everything, literally in that video. So I've always felt
about
like
Facebook ads.
This was all about Facebook ads, yeah. So I've always felt that way, and I think it was just the perfect storm of finding TikTok as a platform with lots of that BS content readily available that people are consuming, and me to just react to it really authentically. And that's what kind of blew us up, went viral about a year and a bit ago. I think it's got 11.6 million views now, which is insane. And kind of the rest is history. We kind of doubled down on reactions because that's what people wanted, and we found our community. And we're really just building a community of people that want authenticity and the truth and the real view of making money online because they've been missold this ridiculous way of, oh, it'll take you 30 days to make 3 million. And you're just like, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So you started your business when you was...
I started the agency when I was 20, oh my goodness, 9 years ago. So when was that? I was like 22.
Right.
Didn't know what I was doing at the time. I'd started a business previously that was app development when I was at university. That ultimately failed because we were students, didn't have a lot of capital to invest into that. Then I had this key decision. I could go work for an agency I had worked for previously, became friends with the founder, or I could kind of move back home, move in with my parents. I was fortunate enough to have that as an option and kind of just go out on my own and figure it out. And that's exactly what I did. And it was me freelancing at the start, basically. You know, we didn't have the team we have now. We didn't have all the clients and the results and the revenue. It was from zero to where we are now.
And obviously there are massive opportunities on social media, and there's lots of leverage that you can use, and there's some amazing opportunities. The fact that we're sitting here today is an opportunity that's come from this stage that we've all got access to, which is just phenomenal. But there's quite a misconception of what opportunities are available on social media and how easy it is to create opportunities. And now we're in this kind of period of time that's quite worrying, where people want things very, very quickly and they expect things very, very quickly. And more scarily, they feel like if they don't get it quickly, they're looking up to someone who's telling them a load of lies, and they think, if I don't get it quickly, I'm a failure. I can't, and they're beating themselves up about it, which is causing mass anxiety, mass depression, all this kind of stuff in kids. Yeah. And I think that's that's the angle I'd love this show to take, to talk to that age bracket of, because we're not talking to I know there's a lot of 35-year-olds have realised they hate the job that their parents pushed them into, and now they want a quick way out and they go and buy some shit coin or whatever, right? But really we're talking, I really feel compelled to talk to 16, 17, up to 25-year-old kids that are just, really beating themselves up and looking up to these kind of fantasy ideas that you can get rich very, very quick. For many reasons, I want to cover those topics. But there's this side hustle mentality, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically what you've seen it all. If you've done the reaction videos. First of all, what's the most common side hustle that you see promoted across TikTok?
I would say there's probably 4. The most popular ones, at least, are dropshipping, Amazon FBA, social media marketing agency, something I'm obviously very familiar with, and then day trading. I would say those are the biggest 4. I think they go through like peaks and troughs of what's popular at the time. I think right now, social media marketing agency is more popular than ever before, particularly around like short form content, paid ads, TikTok. Day trading's like stayed consistent. Dropshipping's having a bit of a resurgence as well, again, because of like organic reach on TikTok, and you can just apparently, get some cheap shit products from China, flog them to people, and suddenly you'll be making 6 figures a month in revenue, no problem.
Yeah. What is it like? I've looked at kids and I've seen them looking at these dropshipping ideas and trading ideas and all the rest of it, and like I asked a couple of them, like, why do you want to be rich? And when you kind of get through all of the Lambo, Andrew Tate looks rich, all these other people are rich and they're looking out to people, you get to the bottom of it and it's really, well, so I can just do what I want. I don't want a boss and all this kind of stuff. And that's fair enough. No one really wants to be told what to do. But I think what it really comes down to is the kids just don't want to do the work. They don't want to work. Yeah. So like we're bringing up a load of lazy people who feel like they should just be able to do what they want whenever they want.
Yeah.
And they're losing sight of this idea that you have to actually put in some work for 10 years at least to really get some motion going in a direction to start earning some decent money. And that's, that's true across the board from what I've seen. But we've got this, because of this social media message that's being put across, not only people don't want to work, but it feels like they feel like if they do work, it should be of a very short period of time. Otherwise, it's not working. I want to move on to the next thing, the next thing, next thing. Yeah. And I think this is the real pandemic. This is a serious matter. Yes. Quite frankly. So drop shipping, you say. What about ChatGPT?
Yeah, I think now we're seeing this wave of how to use AI to make insert X amount of money, or how to build an AI agency that helps boomers use AI or integrate it into their business more effectively. And I think that's the new zeitgeist right now. That's the new thing.
Yeah.
Some for good reason, because some of it, we use it internally at the agency, and it's really empowered us to do a lot more for our clients and help with a lot of our systems and processes and coming up with ad ideas and so forth. So it is a very useful tool, like ChatGPT and GPT-4, when you start crunching numbers and getting it to analyze data and spreadsheets, is amazing.
Yeah.
But there'll always be the people who go, buy my course on how to generate 6 figures a month with AI. And because people just jump on new opportunities because it's fresh and people don't know what they're doing. That's very true. Mm-hmm. And so people will always look for someone who positions themselves as claiming that they do and go, I'll follow this person.
Yeah. Anyone with an inkling of confidence can dictate.
Yes.
Exactly.
I would say personally, we have enough knowledge now where we could, in theory, build a program out on how to improve your agency results using AI to better serve your clients.
Or TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's just stuff that, number one, we just doesn't align with what I stand for in that way. So we'd never do it.
No.
And we're not after quick cash. There's so many other things. I'm more focused on launching other businesses and just...
Yeah. I think there's an important message there that that kids should hear, though, and that is, for every opportunity that you see, opportunities and opportunists are conserved. So wherever there's an opportunity, there's someone creating that opportunity, right? So
definitely.
There's two sides of it. And Peter Lynch is a finance guy, and he had a great quote where he says, back in the gold rush, the people that was getting rich were the people selling the pickaxes and the Levi jeans to the people who were going and chasing gold, not the actual people digging for gold.
Definitely.
And that has always been the case. There's always going to be people selling the opportunity. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at all these kind of get rich quick, FOMO type, hype driven shit coins, all the rest of it. There's always someone behind that creating the opportunity, and you've just got to.
I think that's where you then have to look a little bit deeper beyond surface level into the person that's promoting it, and look at their history and look at their track record, and not just look at all the glossy things they present to you on social media, because you said very rightly that there's this idea that it's quick, easy to make a lot of money. If you just go off social media, everyone shows the positive sides of it, shows the Lambos, or no one ever really shows the negatives, which everyone has negatives. Everyone has bad days, bad weeks, bad years, or seasons, as some people like to call it. But I think one of the biggest pieces of advice I would give for someone younger is, don't go after instant gratification. If you can delay the reward from it and truly love what you're doing and the process and the journey of getting there, stop being so focused on that end result of, I need this amount of money by this time.
Yeah.
Because if you don't love the process, when it gets inevitably hard, because it will, in business, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It is, I think building a business is one of the hardest things, alongside having kids, raising kids, it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do.
Yeah.
So I think you almost have to put the blinkers on and ignore all of the kind of bullshit, overhyped positivity of my life is perfect that you see particularly on Instagram or you see on TikTok. And really, I think it comes back to finding what you're truly interested about, and you'll devote time to becoming a master at a certain skill. That's how I've done it. We did it in digital marketing.
Absolutely.
I think someone always has to find a skill that they have an interest in, that they can pursue for a long time and they can get really good at. And then if you build a business around how that skill solves someone's problems, then you'll be able to build a successful business because you're fundamentally just solving someone else's problem.
You've hit the nail on the head. I mean, this show is called Always Free, and it's about building a life around your values. And everyone's got this idea of, I want to get to this place where I'm financially free, or I've completed life. You don't complete life. Like there's never one point where you're not going to want to do anything. You're always going to want to have fulfillment. You're going to want to feel meaning. You're going to want to serve people always. And that's never going to go away. The people that don't believe that are the ones that actually hate their job, and they can't imagine being in that job for a long period of time, which is why it's important to just pick something that you enjoy from the day one and build a life around that, because you're going to do something till you die anyway.
Yeah.
So just make money doing something you enjoy, and then you've cracked it. So that brings us greatly into the next point of this idea of just grabbing a quick buck doing drop shipping and doing a quick buck doing Amazon FBA.
Yeah.
Who wakes up inspired to do drop shipping? Like, I can't wait to wake up in the morning and a robot's going around a warehouse picking something and sending it to John in China. You don't wake up inspired to do that, do you?
You don't. And I always say, basically, if you like e-commerce as a vertical, essentially, so that would probably cover Amazon FBA and drop shipping. The way you can build a truly sustainable business and brand isn't just from relying on a methodology of delivery that's drop shipping, or building your business on someone else's business, which is Amazon. It's building your own e-commerce brand. And when we've worked with clients and we've scaled them into multiple 7 and 8 figures, it's because they have founders that truly love the products they've created. They have great products, they have great customers, and then obviously with great marketing, you can reach hundreds of thousands and millions of customers. And it's not a quick process. You know, some of the most established and most successful clients that we work with at the agency have been going 10 plus years. And so when you are already in year 10, you know, you can go from like 1 to 3 million rev pretty quickly because you've already got to 1 million. Or even if you're at like 200K a year, you've got from 0 to 200, you've done the hard bit. But it's in a sustainable way. And those side hustles are not sustainable. And because it takes so much mental and physical effort to build a successful business, I always think you need to do it in something that isn't built on someone else's platform or on a methodology that doesn't focus on the right values, basically. Because everyone now says, oh, you know, if you don't do dropshipping, you do branded e-com. Oh, tell us how to build a branded e-com. And it's like, well, I've done all the marketing side of things for a lot of brands, but we haven't purposefully, well, we are now, we're building our own branded e-com and foraying into kind of all the back-end logistics and everything that, you know, is a whole nother challenge. But it's just people need to, I think people fundamentally need to truly find out what they really love doing. And you can't do that without trying lots of different things and seeing what you like and what you don't like. Then I think you also have to watch out for this tendency of like just quitting too early. And I think once you find something that you truly love, whether it's, so for me, it's digital marketing. I did a business management degree at university, and my dad was a marketer. I've always been in marketing. I've loved that. And that was just a natural fit. And I think I got quite lucky because I discovered that very early on when I was like 18, 19. However, if you don't know what you like, I think the best advice would be to fundamentally just write down all your interests, what you like, what you spend your time doing, what you are actually properly interested in, maybe your hobbies and things like that, and then see how you can potentially build something out of those. You know,
amazing. I built. If any of you guys remember, I did a whole day. It was 16 hours. We built a business in a day.
Amazing.
And the first step was writing down a list of everything that you feel inspired to do, that you're good at, and then you compare it to what you would like to serve people doing as well, and you kind of tick the boxes, and then could you make money doing it? Tick the box, and if you got a match, that was what you pushed forward with. And we went through this whole day of building a business. And don't get me wrong, like, yes, people underestimate, or they kind of they think that things are quicker than they are.
Yeah.
But with the technology available today, you can actually. We built a business in a day, and we ran ads, and we made money on one day, right?
That's amazing.
But
What
there's
was
a
the
process. It was something non-related to what I do. It was a fitness business based on a body transformation that I did in 2021, awesome. And I just put together this ebook thing and a little program on how I did it, and we targeted people that were coming up to their 40s. It was for people who were just before their 40th.
Yeah.
And it worked amazingly well. But the purpose wasn't like really to make money. It was to show people the opportunities that are there to create something in a very short period of time that actually works and is sustainable and you can actually go and, get excited about. But it wasn't, let's go on and do some copyright and from ChatGPT and go and serve people doing 5,000 words of content for someone every day, which that would just be mind numbing for most people. But if it isn't, then that is something that you've got as an opportunity. If you love writing and you love, you love grammar and you love like language and storytelling.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Go nuts with ChatGPT and start tweaking it and serving people. So that's the kind of message behind this. What about, let's talk about the kind of, the vending machine and the more physical side of stuff, right? Where people are going, well, let's go and do vending machines. What have you seen people spouting about the opportunities in vending machines?
Oh my goodness. Vending machines is a funny one because that's kind of one of the things that was in my original viral video that I was like, vending machines. This person was saying they were passive income. And I was like, oh, this is absolutely ridiculous. There's nothing passive. Like, it's just going to magically restock itself. Is it going to, drive itself to a position where you're going to put it? Is it going to count the money or collect the money by itself? All of that stuff. So in no way was it passive at all. And so I think vending machines as a whole, as a side hustle, is probably one of the most ridiculous ones you could possibly do.
Yeah.
Because if you buy a new vending machine, they're actually really expensive.
Yeah.
Like the companies that build vending machines, there's a reason they don't just sell to random people off the street. They sell them to like Coca-Cola, who will just have a Coca-Cola vending machine, but they won't just buy one of them. They'll have like 20,000 of them dotted all over a country or a certain city. And so that as a whole is one of the worst side hustles you could do. I would firmly avoid vending machines.
Yeah.
There will be people that will have some vending machines in certain areas that are making money from it. But that's anecdotal, essentially.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I always think you want to jump online because it's more scalable and you can have more location freedom and time freedom. You're not physically tied to a place. I think there are some good physical side hustles, though, for teenagers where you might not be over 18 and so you don't hit the criteria for doing certain things like user testing and things like that. And they're like your classic, almost like chores, washing cars, cutting lawns, walking dogs, stuff that we've actually tried for our tested YouTube series. We shadowed a dog walker that started when they were 16 and they actually built it into 2 really successful businesses, but it started as a side hustle, but he has a crazy passion for dogs. And that's just was, if you said what was the one thing you loved, it was he loved dogs and that's why he built a business around the love of dogs that he had.
Yeah.
So I think everyone's looking for the quick way online, but if you're under 18, there are just age limitations that you have to acknowledge.
And just like, just be patient and go and play in an area and stay at home with your parents.
Part-time
for
job
as long as
well.
possible.
Yeah, part-time job as well is a great one. Like get a part-time job. Everyone forgets about jobs. They're like, oh, I want to do a side hustle. Like, what about just getting an entry-level job in a industry or sector that you're actually interested in, that you may want to pursue, but you're not quite sure yet, but you go into it, or you find a company that you really want to work for and you outreach to them. And you just see, you start to create your own opportunities. Basically.
Yeah, everyone thinks that if you're a job, you got a job, you're a failure as well. This is another thing, right? Yeah. It's like, no. So not everyone is cut out. In fact, I highly recommend most people don't try entrepreneurship because you won't like it. It won't. It doesn't work for most people. They
that's
just
very
can't,
true. Yeah.
They're just not cut out for it. And that's not a bad thing, negative thing. It's just the way it is. It's a lot of people can't deal with losing hair at a young age, and
I've started to
know,
go grey. Honestly, my wife was picking
Right.
out grey hairs, being like, "Oh, you got lots of greys." It's like, that's probably stress.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It is stressful as hell.
Yeah, you have to have the ability to see the bright side in every minute of the day, whilst everything's falling apart. Not only in your business life, but in your family life and your relationships and your money, and you have to just like zone out and have this positive attitude. Not many people can do that, which is why there's very few successful entrepreneurs.
And I think that's also the reality that, like, you know, I said this on Aaron's podcast. He was very much of the belief that anyone could be an entrepreneur. And I was very much of the belief that I think everyone should try or could try, but it doesn't mean everyone's going to be successful.
No, I agree.
Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have any employees. Capitalism wouldn't function. The world wouldn't function as it is if everyone owned a business and no one worked for anyone else's business. That's just never going to be the case. But I think more than ever now, it's so popular to become an entrepreneur, particularly because of social media. And you see like the flashy lifestyles and the financial freedom and all of the success. But we're going to do a piece of content on this. That is, there are people working big businesses, small businesses in highly specialized fields that earn hundreds of thousands and millions of pounds a year that work for someone else.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at some of the top engineers at Facebook, Google, or even anyone in coding and software development, software developers are on good salaries because it's an in-demand skill that is complex. And everyone goes, oh yeah, but I want to do this business or this business. Like, you can be successful and financially free working for someone else in a 9-to-5. And not everyone hates the 9-to-5. I think there's this idea that if you work a 9-to-5, you must hate it. Yeah. And, you know, you haven't escaped the matrix or anything like that. And therefore, you're a slave to the matrix. You're going to be in your 9-to-5 and you're just going to be a miserable old person as you age. And it's just going to be rubbish and terrible. And it's like, no, there are, you know, some people get massive fulfillment. And that's all they want in life is to do the best work for a business that they believe in and have more stability.
Yeah, and go home and have 2 holidays a year and have a family.
Can switch off. That's the big one. Like they can switch off when they get home and they can focus and separate work from the rest of their life. I feel like as an entrepreneur, at least I found, I just do not have the ability to properly switch off even on holiday. It's always on, always thinking about it. And you'll soon realize whether you like that feeling or not. And if you don't, you're not going to last very long. But if you do, then you can persevere when it gets difficult.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, that whole Matrix thing is cringe. Like if anyone actually, if anyone is seriously talking about Matrix, you know, just switch it off. Just, tell them to just run away.
It's a big red flag, I say, if someone's seriously talking about the Matrix.
It's a big red flag. I saw Andrew Tate come out and like, you know, I get out what Andrew Tate is. Very tongue-in-cheek, very like he's having his laugh or whatever, right? And whatever you think about Andrew Tate, I can just see him for what it is. But a lot of people are taking it literal, like and I think that's half the problem. But you just made a great point about being in a job, and people can earn a lot of money in jobs. But you don't even have to earn a lot of money either. I just want to say that, right? Stop looking up to you've got to earn 100 grand, $1 million grand.
Yeah.
How much does your ideal lifestyle cost?
That's
like really, like cost it up. Like what would you 100%. Love to do? And what would you love your life to look like? What car would you like? What house would you like? Cost it up. And I bet you it comes to 100 grand, 150 grand max, right?
Yeah.
And now you can go and get that in a job.
Yes.
Just find something you enjoy, naturally be the best at it because you love it, and then you'll go up the ranks, and that's it. You'll get 100 grand.
And I think this is the thing. When you actually do that exercise, you do realize that you can live like a really great life somewhere between, let's say, like 120 and 200,000 a year net after tax.
Yeah.
Like you can get most things. Yeah, you're not going to be flying private. You might not be going first class all the time, but you know you can afford. But also, massive caveat: depends where you live. Because you know if you decide to live in, let's say, Knightsbridge, and your money's not going very far there.
No.
But if you live somewhere that is not as expensive as London as a city, for example, your money will go further, so you can have a better quality of life on a smaller amount of money. So it's we did that exact exercise exactly. Like, what do we want? How much is it going to cost? And you actually work out, like, I don't need to earn like 5 mil a year to get my dream life. Or I think originally when I first thought this, when I was getting into business, I was young and naive. I was like, I like 12 mil a year. That's fine. I'd love 12 mil a year. And then you're like, what? And you actually cost things up and you're like, you could be like you can get a lot of things you want low to mid six figures. And everything else then after that, just invest into producing more money. So, we put stuff into, for me, it's a lot of index funds. We're building other companies. And then eventually we're going to start investing into other people's businesses as well. So you can then utilize the excess after you've got your base basically on what you want.
And I mean, I'm the same. Most of my income that I pay myself goes into investments, which then pays me real passive income. Actual passive income, which everyone's saying they want, but no one wants to put the investor money into. If you can get to a point where you're investing 50% of your income into investments, then you're getting real passive income back from an investment that will pay you for not actually having to lift a vending machine, which and I know that we both kind of talk down on the fact that the promotion of passive income, but it is real, it is real. And it's just most people don't know how to do it, and most people don't know how to actually generate it, and it's definitely not sexy and it's definitely not glamorous. So going on to the next point, passive income, leveraged income, the opportunities that can come from social media. In the last 3 months, we've created £1.8 million from YouTube.
I saw this.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
That is an exponential effect of being on YouTube for 8 years for a start. And that is the first time that's happened. And it is it's like, we're getting this kind of exponential effect. That took 8 years. Is that a long time? I don't think that's a long time. Like
No, not at all. That's the thing. Like, most people will see that and go, oh, I want that in 12 months.
Yeah.
Like, no, but it took 8 years of sustained work to build it up to that point.
To blow up.
To then blow up. And it was also testament to how good the video was, because you had like a 0.5% conversion rate off the number of views.
0.5%,
which is crazy when you scale up to that many views. And then obviously, you've got all your marketing space. You've got your upsells, you've got your cross sells, and you actually had a product to sell in the first place at the end of that. And a lot of people will think, oh, I'm getting loads of views. But if you don't have a monetization method or channel, then there's no point in getting all the views if you're not going to effectively have a way to monetize. I saw that, and that just gave me so much like inspiration of, I would just want to crack YouTube because it's something we're working really hard on. And obviously, you showed some screenshots of like just your YouTube AdSense and stuff. And I was like, this is like, because some people will see that and go, what's he done? Like, Jason's there. They'll make some assumptions, being like, he must have done something to like
get fuck
someone over or something. Because there's this misconception that in order to be successful, you have to have fucked someone over. You must have like pushed someone out of the way so you could take their place. That's not true.
If I'd have done that, I would have earned the 1.8 million in the first year of YouTube, because that's easy to do.
Easy peasy. Whereas when we looked at it, I was like, that is such fuel and motivation to see someone else doing it and going, if we persist, put the work in, build the right team, create the right content, that's a goal we want to get to for my own personal brand. Like, we're thinking even bigger for YouTube now, because personally, I don't like doing the talking to camera, like talking head videos. I just naturally don't enjoy them as much as kind of more entertaining content, like testing side hustles. And we're kind of doing that, but we're going to go around the world to test them. And I like to think of it as, did you ever see An Idiot Abroad with Carl Pilkington?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but with me as Carl, hopefully not as stupid, who knows, but then testing side hustles, like so rare ones, dangerous ones. And we're going to kind of, that's our plan. Like, we've got that in the works. We've got the first episode's going to be coming out in September.
That's going to be
UK based to start with. It's like a really good challenge video. And we're just going all in, basically.
Amazing. Let's talk about some opportunities that you have seen come from social media then, because you've got now 300 plus thousand TikTok followers
on TikTok.
Something like 40 million views.
40 million views on TikTok, another like 2 or 3 across like Instagram and YouTube.
Right.
So I think there was expected outcomes and unexpected. And I would definitely say the expected outcomes were things like you're going to get trolled, you're going to get amazing comments though of like building up a community of people that love you, you're going to get loads of DMs. I think some of the unexpected things that have come from building a personal brand, like a fairly sizable personal brand in a short period of time, was number one, just how quickly it went from literally 351 followers up to 300,000 in less than 12 months, which you couldn't do on any other channel apart from TikTok. But then the opportunities, there's things like press and podcasts. I think another one that we didn't anticipate was a lot of, when we were surveying our agency clients, 80+% of them had come from or had seen my content on TikTok, even though it was nothing to do with the work we do at the agency. In fact, if you surveyed most of my TikTok audience, they probably wouldn't know what agency I have because it's not in our content. It's in my bio and I briefly talk about it at the end of some of our videos, but I never do like a, hey, if you're running an e-com brand and you want to get to 7 or 8 figures, then come work for our agency. We've done it for hundreds and hundreds. We've got the blueprint. Like I never promo it like that. So we had a whole, we've tracked over 6 figures just from agency clients coming from TikTok in the last 12 months. As an additional channel to all the other marketing we're doing. And then probably the biggest one's relationships. The relationships I've been able to build with other content creators, other, people like yourself and Aaron and just other people in the same boat of creating content but being authentic about it on social media. And they can they see that and they go, okay, what are you doing? What are you doing? I've got this opportunity. Do you want to speak about this? I love that you're doing this. It's a really supportive community.
Yeah.
So it's a super supportive community, even more so than like the digital marketing community, because that's a little bit more cutthroat than content creators.
Yeah, but people just want to work with you because you build up a lot of trust with people. You build up
yes. The biggest thing that I found is that as much as like it could be perceived as a vanity metric, the audience size, that size audience ultimately gives you credibility in most things that you do, because it's very hard to get to that point. You must have done something to be an outlier to build up an audience of that size, because not many people do that. And so that shows something and people go, okay, I want to just see what else there is there, basically.
Yeah. And I know you said you don't like being the face, but you're kind of the face, and people want to work with you because of the trust that they've built and the amount of time they've spent with you. Yeah. That builds trust. So they don't really care what you do. They just want to work with you somehow. And similar guy as Patrick Bet-David. I don't know if you know Patrick.
Oh yeah.
Valuetainment. I mean, he runs an insurance company, which is like boring, right? Yeah. But he built a YouTube channel to the degree where his insurance company is now like hundreds of $1 million company, because people just want to be part of that. Exactly. And the same goes for any authority, anyone who can put their face out there. So you say it isn't for everyone, and not everyone wants to be the face. But my take on that is you can do it, right? If you're doing something that you enjoy speaking about. If you're trying to talk about drop shipping, or you're trying to talk about something that you're trying to put this persona or act on, and you haven't skilled up in that area or that niche, and you're trying to revise something and then talk about it on camera, you're just going to have a hard time. And people see through it.
People see through it. I think that's the big thing. If you're not authentic, people will just see through you completely. Yeah. Because the internet's like bullshit detector is phenomenal. I think it's getting better now than it ever was. Like, even you see TikToks, people being like, this is how I make $100,000 a month as a 22-year-old from home with my coaching program. And you're like, okay. And then you just look at the comments and people are like, oh, they're selling a course. It's all through a course. Yeah. Is it even real? Probably not. Yeah. You're talking absolute nonsense to try and just sell more of a program. Yeah. And that's the classic thing that you said of selling the shovels to the people digging for gold, not digging for gold yourself.
Yeah. And there's a lot of that out there. There is a lot of that. But what I would say to anyone who does want it, because look, this social media thing, there is an opportunity there. It's 12 months is very quick to go from
crazy,
and there are opportunities that have come of that. Obviously, you've got a skill behind that to offer people, and like you said with me, I had a product there that I'd already built, and I was building that alongside, and that's great. I've met TikTok. I had a TikTok guy on here with 6 million followers, and he weren't earning a penny because he just didn't. He didn't know how to. He didn't have a service or something to offer. So it does pay to have both. But anyone who is considering it and just go, look, I'm not the camera person. First of all, are you skilled in something, or is there something you actually like talking about? Because I can promise you, there's an audience for everything. I found a Facebook group on fruit sticker collectors, on the stickers on fruit, and they had books for them and everything, right? So
that's crazy.
If you love anything, talk about that. And then the second point is, like you mentioned, trolls.
Yep.
Just know there's going to be haters and lovers of you, right?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
what I see happen is people can't stomach the reprimand from the trolls, so they grow to the degree that they can stomach that reprimand. But in actual fact, there's equal haters and lovers, right?
Definitely.
And you grow together. The interesting thing that I've found is people say surround yourself with positive people only and don't worry about the trolls. The positive people just make you fat and complacent. Like they don't pick out the things that you actually don't like about yourself. The trolls do that.
Yeah.
And if the troll says something, it only hurts when it's like, I don't like that about me. So actually they've got a point. So I'm going to level up. I'm going to sort this out. Like it might be that you're not being authentic. It might be that you're talking about something on camera and you aren't actually specialized in that. And someone goes, that guy's talking crap. And because you know it's true, that hurts. So now you can do something about it, right?
Yeah, and I think there's kind of two sides to trolls. There's people that just troll you and say horrible things about you, that more about like how you look and all this stuff. And I think TikTok does a very good job at hiding a lot of those. If you ever see like moderated comments, ones that aren't immediately in the comment feed, that's where all the really like horrible ones are.
Scroll to the bottom.
Yeah, scroll to the bottom, hit the button at the bottom, and then it pops up all the ones calling you an absolute fucking twat, and much stronger language than that. There's the haters, and then there's people trying to provide constructive feedback. Yeah. That if you can see it in two ways. You can either see it as like you can have an ego, very much like I had when in my early 20s building this. I was like, I thought I knew everything. I had this ego, and then the more I let go of that, the better everything else became. And so you can either see it as they're wrong, and always just go down that path, or you can actually be open to feedback, and that will just help you grow as a person and as, whatever business or brand you're building, and it will just take it to that next level. But you have to just be careful whose feedback you listen to as well, because there are some people that aren't worth listening to.
If anyone, what I truly believe is that if anyone is telling you can get rich quick, with that, the faster you rise, the faster you can fall. And I will use Andrew Tate as an example. I believe that everything is in this world and in this universe is trying to balance out. So when we get to a point in life where people can create agenda and all this kind of stuff, you get someone show up who's the polar opposite, who is so far the other way. And the goal is that it tries to balance out this chaos that's going on. And I believe that Andrew Tate showed up for that reason. Yeah. And but when you look at Andrew Tate, you have to take it with a pinch of salt, because he's now arrested and now he can't spend any of his money. And what would you rather, right? 20 million in the bank or prison? It's
again, it comes back to like, you got to be careful who you take advice from, because there's plenty of terrible human beings that can disguise themselves as something they're not. And when you dig a bit deeper, there's not going to be some nice, there's not going to be some nice things. Everything's again not going to be sunshine and rainbows. There's going to be people have history and all of this kind of stuff, and some people aren't just criminals at the end of the day. So
out and out criminals. For sure.
It's again, you just look at like the Madoff scam, the Ponzi scheme that this was back in the day, obviously, like billions and billions and billions, and everyone thought he was incredible, untouchable, and he was just embezzling everyone's money. And it's like history just shows there are these people.
Yeah.
And it's more recently really interesting is it's been often a lot of people that hit Forbes 30 under 30, but doing it with companies that like built a technology that never really existed, or they created a load of fake users. And then they're all suddenly looking ahead for prison sentences basically because of fraud and securities fraud and wire fraud and all of those things.
It's crazy. And what I would add to that is just whenever you're looking up to something, try and bring it down a bit. Try and see the good and the bad. Try and see the benefits and drawbacks to everything, and don't have anything on a pedestal.
Yes.
And whenever you do, that's why they say don't meet your heroes, right? Because you're basically believing that they don't have traits that every human has. You think that they're just one-sided. You think that they're God or whatever. And if you ever feel like that and you look up to someone, it's great to be inspired by those characters, but just know they're human beings and they are an opportunist usually. So what is the opportunity? What are they selling? How are they selling it? What's the messaging? Are they selling the product or are they selling the dream of having the product? What's their messaging? Are they showcasing clients and actual testimonials? That's a very, I don't know if people are scared to Google testimonials because they're in denial that it's not going to get them to where they want to go. But we've got Google, by the way. You can just go testimonials for,
absolutely.
Just go and do that. Why wouldn't you do that? So
or just do your research basically. Don't just take absolutely everything at face value, because often, it's the famous saying of if it sounds too good to be true, it often is. So just, take a bit of initiative and do some research and just vet people a bit more. Yeah,
absolutely. Awesome. So look, just to round this off, I'd love to just talk about kind of, I don't know, the 10 commandments of of what to do. And I know we've discussed kind of go into something you enjoy and all the rest of it. But if you was to tell your kids, or kids listening, what you would focus on, what would be some tips and advice that you would share?
Okay, that's a great.
I'll jump in.
That's a great question. So for me, I would say learn one of 3 in-demand skills that will set you up to either go work for someone and earn good money, or to then eventually build out your own business from it. So for me, in my opinion, those skills are coding, so software engineer, some form of digital marketing, so like paid ads, CRO, email marketing, whatever it might be. And then the last one is video editing, because that's such an in-demand skill right now. And everyone goes, oh, but what about AI? AI is going to replace all of it. There's always going to be a part for human beings in the creative component of any task. If it involves creativity, AI is not there yet. And also, if it involves a transaction with another human being, human-to-human connection is always going to be preferred by other human beings.
Always.
Versus a machine just automating it, or AI. It is scary. Have you seen some of the calls recently it's AI calling a restaurant on Google's one of Google's AIs, and you can't even tell it's AI. So it is getting to that level where things can be really scary. But ultimately, develop one of those 3 skills, get exceptionally good at it, work for someone else first, build that experience, build that knowledge. And then if you want to go into entrepreneurship, then you can, start freelance, and then ultimately you can build a business from that, delivering those skills as a service and selling it to businesses and solving their problems.
Great.
That's what I would say.
And when you build a business, don't expect to do all the business yourself.
Yeah, that's very true.
Focus on doing the video editing still. Just get everyone else to do everything else. Funny you mentioned video editing, because I've pulled both my sons out of school, but my youngest son, who's 15, he loved Premiere Pro, and he just sat in his room and learnt Premiere Pro. Amazing. And now he's earning $5,000 a month at the moment.
That's crazy.
From doing social media videos for people, YouTube videos for people. All whilst building his own YouTube channel, doing art and
demonstrating the skills.
Well. So it's amazing, and he does all of my YouTube. So if you watch my YouTube, he does all that editing. He does everything. Incredible. So it's fantastic, and it is. I would totally back video editing's a great skill to have, but ultimately, just do something you enjoy. Mm-hmm. Everything's monetizable. Every single service is monetizable. So don't worry about that. Just go into something you enjoy. don't go into something that someone's telling you to go into because there's a lot of money in. You will end up reverse engineering your life in your late 30s. I promise you. You'll get stuck in a job where I see this from typically the parent pushed professions, accountancy, lawyers, doctors. Yeah. But most of them hate it. Like I've spoken to many of them, and they get to this point where they're about 35, and what happens is you cap out on income, so you can't earn any more income. You get to I think it's about 80 to 120 grand, right? And then you get there, but because the pressure and the responsibility at that level is so high, you don't even want any more money. You're like, I would rather have less time at this job than have any more money. I just want my sanity back. You check into the Priory or something because you have a breakdown. So that is a trap that people fall into. Why not just go into something that you enjoy and then slowly build up? Just like we've done with the YouTube. We're now at a place where we're experiencing the rewards and benefiting from the rewards, but it's taken 8 years. That's not even a long time. Like I just
not at all.
Give yourself 10 years. Give yourself 10 years doing something you enjoy. And I just want to say on social media, if you show up every day and give value on social media in some way, every single day, there's no way that after 2 years or 3 years max that you won't be earning 50 to 100 grand just from that. I've yet to see that be like dispelled. Yeah. As long as you're showing up.
Consistency.
You
just have to be consistent at it. You can't just like try it for a month. I did 30 videos. Why haven't any of them gone viral or blown up? Or why haven't I got this personal brand? It's like, because you just have to do more and more and more and then show up, like you said, every day. Yeah. If you keep doing that for years and years, you will get the outcome you want because so many people won't do that. Yeah. So you're really playing in a really small playing field.
Absolutely. And I want to say this as well, volume on social media, don't give up too soon because, it takes probably 30 to 50... When someone sees you 30 to 50 times, that's when they start to become a fan and they start to really like your stuff, right? Now, people only see 20% of what you post at the beginning anyway. Yeah. So that means you need to post like 250 pieces of content for them to be a real fan of yours, right? And when you think about it that way, putting 3 videos out and going, I'm deleting that one because I've got a few dislikes and why isn't anyone buying my stuff? That's ridiculous. Yeah. So give it time. You need a lot of volume. You need a lot of content. If you've been posting, what's your routine?
So before we went viral, we tested 154 videos in 71 days to figure out what worked, like what formats.
So it's 2 a day pretty much.
2 a day pretty much for 71 days just on TikTok. Then we kept on posting 1 to 2 a day. And I think in the last year, we've only missed 5 days we haven't posted. Right. That's it. You've got to be consistent. You've got to show up. Yeah.
Everyone I've spoke to who's done well on social it's the same thing. Consistency. Just keep going. Get better. Look at something and get better each time.
Yes, it's making each video. It's basically testing to see what works, what formats work, and then refining and doubling down, and then building out your kind of pre-production, production, post-production process, and then scaling your team if you want to invest in it. And all of that stuff, because there's so much more that goes into content than people realize. Yeah.
Oh, there is. And although you don't need, I'll say this, you don't need lots of expensive equipment. Like you've literally got an amazing camera here, which you can do everything on. But investing in production equipment is an investment that I highly recommend. Like it's just, we plow so much into it. Like we've got 100 grand studio at my house, because I know that it gets a return and I've got so much confidence in it now.
Yeah, your studio looks amazing.
Thank you. But it's just, we'll have to do a session there, but I've got no qualms investing in cameras, lighting, mics, because I just know it pays dividends. And, I encourage you to get into it because it really is it's just extraordinary. It really is extraordinary. The fact that we're sitting here having and we've got now another opportunity here, new friendship, new partnership. Definitely. It's just amazing. So Charlie, thanks for coming on to the show, mate. It's been great to chat to you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a great conversation.
It has. Very refreshing, very like-minded, and I hope you guys got value. Yeah. Let us know in the comments what you'd love. Any question? If you've got any questions for Charlie, he'll engage in the chat for sure. And if you've got any side hustles or ideas or business ideas, look, bring
Run
them
them by me.
Yeah, bring them to us
Yeah.
because I'm always interested in new business ideas anyway, and maybe we can help you or guide you based on the little experience that we've got in life so far because we're very young.
Still figuring it out. Still got a long way to go.
Absolutely. Yeah. And until next time, guys, take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you then.